not good at doing intros.
Sup guys, so I said that I was gonna redo that video because the other one just wasn't achieved. I don't know why, but for some reason I just got a copyright strike because I used too many clips from that film, even though other YouTubers have used the same clips and they used a lot of them even after the movie came out, but for some reason they didn't get the same copyright label as me because I could see their videos. That was a lot, jeez. So, in this video, I'll be showing more of my face. I know guys, I know. I don't want to do it either, but I have to because I have to show only the relevant clips for this commentary just so I won't have to get another copyright label because I do want to post this video. I do want my channel to do well. I want this video to do well. And I want to talk about this film because everybody else has talked about it except for me. And I know I'm late with this commentary. I'm always late on a lot of things, but this time, I promise you guys, it'll be better. Well, I mean, I can't really promise that, but I will make it better than the previous video. As per my previous video, we're going to be discussing K-pop Demon Hunters, a film that needs no introduction because everybody and their great-grandmother has seen it at this point, everybody and their great-grandmother has jammed out to how it's done at this point, and I thought, why not I include my own thoughts about this since I watched the film because I needed to for this video, and having watched it, I will say it's not horrendous. It's not like the worst film, obviously. It's better than whatever Disney puts out these days, which is a low bar, but it definitely felt like a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, me kind of included, because, you know, since we are living in the era of animation where modern day animation just happens to either include unnecessary trauma dumps or they're just unnecessary to begin with. Well, actually, no, DreamWorks has been doing pretty well, considering their two films, Bad Guys and Bad Guys 2, were received pretty well, mainly because they took the risk and catered it to the furries. I'm not joking. But DreamWorks has always done amazing, so maybe that's why. But yeah, with this film though, of course, I will say, while it did feel like a breath of fresh air and had something new for people, I wouldn't say it's entirely like fresh or original because the plot of it is kind of, well, how do I say this? Kind of dated since we've seen the type of plot that K-pop Demon Hunters uses in other pieces of media before, so I wouldn't say it's entirely fresh or original. However, like I said, it's not the worst shit ever, so I will be discussing my thoughts about this, and disclaimer, it is my opinion. For those of you who really do like this film, that is on you. My opinion is that, like I said, it's not bad. However, I'm not going to be glazing this film and calling it peak because I really don't think that it is the peak that everybody says it is, so I hope you guys can respect my opinion. The movie begins by introducing us to this Korean village where demons have been infesting it ever since, actually, I don't know, they don't really say how long demons have existed, they just say that they've been living there for as long as we can remember, so that's what I'm gonna go with. And these demons apparently terrorize the people in this village by feeding off the souls of the villagers and feeding it to their demon king called Gima. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly because in the film he's called Guima, like there are people who do pronounce the W in his name, so they just call him Guima. But there is also another way to pronounce his name, which is Gima, without pronouncing the W. So I don't know exactly the correct pronunciation, so I'm gonna call him Gima because
there are people who do call him like this.
So that's what I'll be calling. Again, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing this name, by the way. But anyway, yeah, so Gima is this demon king that the demons worship and send the souls to. All hope seems lost for the villagers in this Korean village until a group of beautiful women known as the ethereal Feinschitz or the ethereal Hazes. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They appear out of thin air and their job is to fight these demons that they then later seal away by creating this magical barrier called the Honmoon. I like the way it's called the Honmoon, like I won't lie. Like the name Honmoon sounds so pretty to be honest. And this is where we're introduced to the very first song in this film called Hunter's Mantra, and I did not include this in my other video. I don't know why, but I really think I should have because this song is, oh my god, Hunter's Mantra is actually so beautiful. Like the vocalization, the lyrics is just, it makes me ascend to the heavens, to be honest. And in each generation, every 3 girls are chosen to be hunters to fight demons, while also being pop stars, or, since this is taking place in Korea, they're K-pop idols. Now, in present-day Korea, the people of South Korea don't know about demons, they don't know that they exist, nor can they see the Honmoon, which is kind of weird because we literally saw, like at the beginning, where the people were seeing these demons hunt them and steal their souls. The people in this village saw how the trio was activating the Honmoon, so it makes no sense that, you know, back then they knew that the demons and the Honmoon existed, but in present day, they don't know about it, they can't see the demons, nor can they even see the Honmoon, which is weird. And no guys, they don't explain this or elaborate further. We are then introduced to our main characters called Huntrix because they hunt demons, in case nobody could tell. I'm kidding. I don't exactly hate the name Huntrix, but it's a very obvious name. Like, you know, they're demon hunters who hunt demons. They're called Huntrix. But whatever. I don't think the name is bad. I just think it's just too obvious, but whatever. Anyway, so they are made up of 3 members, Mira, Zoe, and Rumi. Now, I do like the characters of Mira, Zoe, and Rumi. I think like their characters were written pretty well, even though they do recycle the whole quirky, angry, reasonable leader type of personality trope that other pieces of media have had regarding, you know, female trios, but whatever. I like their personalities and I like their backstories and the way they're written, but Rumi's primarily is quite sad. So Rumi's mother was previously a K-pop idol in this K-pop group called Sunlight Sisters. So yes guys, Rumi is a nepo baby in this. And when Rumi was an infant, her mother passed away, so she was placed under the care of this guardian named Celine, who also was a member of Sunlight Sisters. And Celine's character is kind of similar to what Piper Raquel's mom Tiffany is, to be honest. You know, one of those show moms that forces their children to either be like a dancer or a pop star or like an actress or whatever, just so they can live through their children's dreams because they never got that when they were kids. And with Celine, since she used to be in this K-pop group and, you know, since one of the members is no longer alive, therefore relevancy has been lost. So Celine is like, how do I exploit this child, make her the slave to the industry, and live through one of my former members' dreams so I can make that money and return this relevancy? Literally, that's basically what Celine does throughout this whole film, just saying. So anyway, back to the main plot of the film. So this is apparently like the last show Huntrix is supposed to perform before they go on like a hiatus. And we are introduced to their manager named Bobby. And honestly, he is like one of my favorite characters. Well, actually not one, he's like probably the only my favorite character here because I just like him, I like his design, and he's just cute in general. He notices that the girls are not here because the plane that is taking them is going to the wrong direction, so he gets sus. We are then shown the plane. Damn, Huntrix, were you trying to be like Taylor Swift? The girls are shown eating a shit ton of food, which is already unrealistic since in the K-pop industry, idols are not allowed to eat anything, just anything at all, because of this whole strict diet culture that is imposed on them by the K-pop industry. Because if you guys not know much about the K-pop industry, they have like a lot of strict rules in general when it comes to idols, and diet is one of them. The reason is because they just don't want the idols to get bloated or puffy whenever they perform. But I'm like, dude, you're starving these people, like what are you talking about? And also there has been like many cases of like K-pop idols coming out and saying how like this whole diet culture has been negatively impacting them. Like for example, one of the members from Twice once came out and said that, you know, because of this whole strict diet that she had to endure, she had to eat nothing but ice. Yes, ice, which is basically like frozen water. And honestly, I don't even get how these, you know, K-pop companies or like, you know, the whole K-pop industry in general expects their idols to perform well on stage in front of millions of people if you cannot eat anything. And if you guys have ever seen K-pop dance choreography, you know how insane it is. And doing all of that without eating is just torture, because there are cases of idols literally fainting on stage. Like, food gives you energy, and due to the insane choreography, idols don't need to worry about bloating because they already burn calories by dancing, which is a form of sport. So again, I don't know how these companies and the whole entire industry really expects them to just perform well because of this. Anyway, Huntress discovers that their flight attendants are demons, and that's when they perform their first song, How It's Done. In my opinion, this song is pretty catchy, and in my tier list, I'm putting it in the A tier because it's just that good. I should honestly just create tier lists more often. They land on stage and perform while defeating these demons, and again, how do people not know that the Hanmoon doesn't exist? Like, we literally saw them see the trio activating them at the beginning. How are they not aware that demons and the Hanmoon exists? Also, since the girls are aiming for a golden Hanmoon, which is supposed to like, make the demons disappear forever, make them cease to exist or whatever. So I'm just like, do other countries have demons of their own? Because in the intro, we did see how the golden Hanmoon spread beyond South Korea. They were touching upon Japan and China. So I'm just like wondering, do other countries have demons as well? Because they don't really explain that when the golden Hanmoon was spreading beyond. Am I just not getting it? And all of this disappoints Gima. Duh. And honestly, I'm just gonna say right here, I don't know why the creators just couldn't make Gima have like a body and a face and just, you know, make him have some type of humanoid features, because he's literally just all flame, all purple and pink flames, but whatever. And that's when we're introduced to everybody's new animated funny shit since these three, Genu. And I'm just gonna say it right here, in my personal opinion, I don't think that Genu is really all that special. Okay, guys, okay, why are you mad at me? Guys, okay, I know you guys were starving for another animated male crush, but Honestly, I tried to like pull a Charlie Kirk. Almost pulled a Charlie Kirk there, guys. Wow. No, seriously, in all honesty, I feel like people just glaze this man's design too much because you guys just goon over any K-pop idol that literally looks like Jinu, and he's designed to look like any other K-pop idol that people goon over. Anyway, moving on. So Jinu decides to transform himself and his group of NPCs into humans because they decided to go after the fans of Huntrix to steal their souls in the form of a hot, attractive human boy band while also doing whatever this pose is. Is this film's version of Kidnapped by One Direction? You know, I just like came to this realization, but if this film came out in like, let's say 7 or 8 years ago, Gino would have definitely been a part of those Angel of Darkness animated music videos back in the day. You guys remember like those Angel of Darkness edits where people would like use the song Angel of Darkness and create like those edits of characters that were like, that would kind of fit the description of what a dark angel is? Because I do. For those of you who are too young to remember that era, let me explain it to you. So Angel of Darkness was a song that actually came out back in 2003. It was originally created for a video game called Tomb Raiders, but it became kind of popular around the 2010s. And people in various fandoms would use that song to edit like characters that kind of fit the description of a dark angel who are mostly like emo, evil-like characters. I remember watching that one Princess Luna edit regarding that song, and I'm pretty sure you guys know which one I'm talking about. Of course, I'll play it for you guys, because, you know, I want to go down memory lane in my childhood. So, I was editing, then I was, like, scrolling on TikTok, and this popped up on my For You page. If you guys do not know, this is the creator of Angel of Darkness. And I went into the comments because I was just very curious to see what the people were saying. And the people, of course, were just like sending images of Miraculous Ladybug, Bloom, and the creators were actually liking them because, you know, at this point, it's been confirmed, guys. I'm pretty sure they're now aware of all these AMVs that have been made throughout the years. And yes, they also like the Princess Luna one. Honestly, I don't know how to feel about this, but just wanted to point this out since, And Princess Luna definitely fits the description of a dark angel because she's literally the epitome of a dark angel. She's literally the princess of the night. But yeah, there was also other characters. Dark Bloom from Winx was also given an Angel of Darkness edit. Miraculous Ladybug also had one. Well, the Akutamized version. I don't know if I'm saying Akutamized correctly. I really wasn't like a big fan of Miraculous Ladybug. Like, actually, I did watch it as a kid because a friend of mine introduced me to it, but like, that's really it. So I wasn't like in the fandom. But yeah, anyway. But there was like a lot of characters that were given like these Angel of Darkness type of edits. And seeing Jinu being a demon and a villain who steals souls, he would have perfectly fit that description and he would have totally been in one of those edits. And since I think like this and, you know, to kind of realize this, I decided to create like a mini AMV of my own regarding Jinu and Angel of Darkness, just because I thought it would be funny. You're welcome in advance. Back in the human world, we are discovered that Rumi is actually part demon because her dad was a demon, and they don't really explore this detail more or like thoroughly. It's just stated that, you know, Rumi's dad was a demon and her mom was like a hunter who fell in love with a demon, they banged, and that's how Rumi came to be. And since there is also going to be a sequel to this film, because, you know, when the film does so well and people like it, sequels are bound to happen, and I do hope that they will explore this detail more in the sequel because I am curious about Rumi's mother and father and how they met, and I feel like it would be more interesting to explore that than what we got in this. Just my opinion, but yeah, I do hope they'll explore it more though, because I am actually kind of curious about this whole like dynamic, like how did they meet, how did she fell in love with the demon, how did her members of the K-pop group that they were a part of like take it, you know, like you get the point. And because of this revelation, Rumi begins to lose her voice, which then she panics about and runs away without telling her friends. You know, I've seen some people blame Rumi for this and like kind of like saying how she has a habit of running away from her problems, but like there's literally a scene of Rumi wanting to tell her friends about the fact that she's a demon, you know, she really wants to open up about this, and then we have her guardian Celine be like, hell no, like what are you talking talking about? You wanna love yourself and accept for who you are? Not on my watch. Just like with Gino, if this film was released like 8-7 years ago, Rumi being part demon would have went so hard during the gacha days. You guys remember like during when gacha was like huge, people would create like those tropes regarding half demon, half princess, half angel, hybrid transformation.
In another universe, we are half demon, half angel, long-lost hybrid princesses. But we realized one day in transformation class when we both randomly turn into hybrids.
Anyway, I'm gonna skip over the other parts because I don't want this video to be too long. So Rumi and her friends decided to go to this pharmacy to get this like weird tonic that was told to them that might help her voice or whatever. And that's when we're introduced to the NPCs from before, who are actually called Saja Boys. I didn't say their name, but I'm saying it here. And I feel like people gave the Saja Boys too much credit for being too attractive for a kid's film, and I'm just like, guys, where have we seen that before? When I was little, and I hope I'm not the only one, I used to love this TV show called Winx Club. Despite it being released like 21 years ago, it still goes hard, and there are these characters called the Specialists who are literally created to not only serve as the love interests, but also for us little girls to obsess over. These guys had scenes where they were showing their muscles, and one of them was literally shirtless. Like, I'm still not over Brandon, Healy, and Riven. Oh, Riven, my toxic red flag. I'm kidding. If you guys ever like have a Riven in your life and ever came across an actual person who has the personality of a Riven in real life, like run away, run the other way. I would not even stay with this person if I were you, so just saying. Also, Winx Club literally had a hot villain. For those who are simping over Gima, by the way, we had a Voltor, okay? Like, damn. Normally I don't like men having long hair, but you know what? I'll make an exception for this Pookie right here. And yes, I do still ship Bloom and Voltor to this day because they had more chemistry than Bloom and Sky, and I am still confused as to why Bloom mostly had a good relationship and literally had more chemistry with villains than her own boyfriend. So the girls see the guys, and I don't really have the words for this, so let's just move on. Rumi ain't impressed with their drooling and gooning. Honestly, Rumi, same. Same girl, same. Until she sees Gino, and then suddenly all her morals go out the window, and since this is also set in Korea, of course they had to include a K-drama moment where they do the whole slip and fall, showing all the different angles because apparently one shot isn't enough to indicate that they met. And also, since we're on the topic, I really don't understand these cliches because in K-dramas, when a guy bumps into a girl, it signifies their romance, but they literally just met and don't even know their names yet. Like, what if the guy's a red flag, which is mostly the case in these dramas, but it's okay because he asks if she's okay, so therefore he cannot do no wrong and is totally a walking green flag. So Rumi falls down and she expects Gino to help him, but instead he's like, girl, you blind? Watch yourself. And Rumi's like, the fuck you just say to me, bitch? Honestly, I don't know what they were expecting from these guys. Then they hear music, and this is the second song in the film titled Soda Pop. Imagine being like a regular person walking and you see this pink smoke appearing. Boy, I would just immediately assume it's one of those stupid gender reveal parties because they're just getting insane. Let me tell you. Okay, so Soda Pop is a song that I really don't like, and I'm putting it in the F tier. I know, I'm sorry, but you could easily play this song at a Forever 21 and I won't tell that it's from a popular film because it's just this bland and generic. This song is supposed to be this kind of upbeat, romantic type with innuendos because it is common for idols to perform songs with subtle lyrics since the K-pop industry as a whole likes to present its idols as like pure, cute, innocent to maintain this clean image, which honestly makes it even worse because I cannot stand it when idols are forced to do aegyo, which is basically acting cute for fans. Something about it just makes me cringe because it is weird seeing a grown man pushing 30 doing cutesy kawaii faces. The girls find out that they're demons and start plotting their downfall by deciding to kill them at this event in front of everyone. That's a very good idea, guys. Great job. They get called out and are forced to go down the slide in their leather outfits because leather and slides do not go together. And this guy, this guy, like, let me tell you, this guy really freaking weirded me out because he was way too excited to see these girls down the slide. Like, just dude, calm down, buddy, okay? Like, relax. Then they later start chasing the boys, and they end up in the men's bathhouse without realizing that it's the men's bathhouse. How did y'all not know this was the men's bathhouse? They spot the boys again, and honestly, I'm not even gonna comment on Mira and Zoe. Just stop. Rumi is very unimpressed, and honestly, Rumi, same. They start to fight these demons, and honestly, I will say, like, the fighting animation in this film is really good. Like, this is something that I will clap for the film. The animation as a whole in this film is not bad, and I do like this whole, like, very much anime-inspired fighting scenes. Yes, anime, because they're over the top, and anime has over-the-top fighting scenes. So, Rumi chases after Gino, and they have this, like, whole flirting while fighting the enemy moment, and it's something that I did notice in this film with the whole use of dark romance tropes. Yes, guys, I'm not kidding. I feel like this film tried to be everything all at once, including a weird version of a Wattpad dark romance novel. if that's even a thing, I don't know. And dark romance tropes have become just so, just like, they've become such a meme because of the way they've been used by previous pieces of media in a more or so stereotypical way. 50 Shades of Grey, Twilight, After. Actually, After mostly uses a whole bad boy and good girl trope where the good girl falls in love with the bad boy, even though the bad boy in question is a massive red flag. But it's okay, guys. He has a British accent, so I guess that erases all the harm he's caused. And to give you guys proof that this film is basically a dark romance wannabe, after Gino discovers Rumi's patterns, he quickly covers her with his body and looks down at her with this unreadable expression, because in these type of stories, the bad boy or the vampire or whatever at this point always gives the YN character mixed signals. I'm not saying Rumi is a YN, she's a pretty well-written character. However, she does have some YN moments, which we will get into. After that, he disappears like Edward from Twilight style. He literally zooms away like Edward did with Bella. So after that whole debacle at the bathhouse, the girls devise a new plan to defeat the Saja boys, which is through a diss track. Because diss tracks are still a thing in 2025. Shout out to Rice Gum and Logan Paul for their diss tracks that they've made towards Jake Paul. Do you guys remember that era back in the day where Logan Paul was like beefing with his older brother, and then Rice Gum stepped in and you got Alyssa Viola joining the two to go up against him? Yeah, honestly, to this day, I don't even remember what that was about, but I did enjoy the diss tracks. Fall of Jake Paul still goes hard. Can't believe I'm admitting that.
Oh, that's Alyssa Viola, used to be your chick. Now she in the low gang and you know she on my team.
Rumi is asked by Gino to meet him in private, which she ends up doing, and this whole entire scene is just basically you and I are not so different trope, which has been overused throughout the decades because Gino's trying to convince Rumi that he can understand her due to her demon heritage, and this pisses her off, which is understandable because what do you mean you know the type of person I am just because I happen to have the same condition as you do? Rumi, mind you, did not choose to be a demon, you know, that came from her father, but Gino is a demon because, and this is where he talks about his backstory by the way, when he was a human 400 years ago, he and his family lived in poverty and he wanted to help them out by singing, but he sucked at that, so he kind of just made a deal with Gima to give him a golden voice, which ended him being noticed by the emperor apparently, but Gima kind of started to manipulate him and thus making his family worse than before. So yeah, in other words, he chose this while Rumi didn't have a choice to be a demon. He flirts some more and then he dips, and that's when we're transferred to the meet and greet. Honestly, this whole scene is probably my only favorite scene because it is just so funny. So Huntrix and Saja dudes are forced to fan sign together, and Mira honestly is so me here because she's just like ready to crash out, and I wouldn't blame her. Ugh, men. Rumi and Gino have another moment and are interrupted by this fan who definitely looks like she would write some insane yaoi. She probably has all the top rates in AO3. Honestly, if I did not know the context of this whole scene, I would just come to the conclusion that the guy was just giving those out for free. Zoe and this guy, whose name is Mystery actually, seem to be the only normal ones. He's barking. Yay. It was at this moment that Mystery knew. He wanted to be a furry, and Zoe wanted to be a furry tamer. Okay. Couple of more. We got this, guys. I can do this. I just need to continue reviewing this film. I will upload it, and I will not be getting a copyright. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just paranoid. Anyway, skipping over the other parts because we don't need to talk about the whole entire film. If you guys just want to know this film, just go watch it on Netflix. It's literally still on there, by the way. Anyway, so these whole like secret meetings between Rumi and Gino like continue, and Rumi just hides it from her friends. Mira tries to ask her what is happening. She just continues to gaslight her. Honestly, this is the part where Rumi kind of started to piss me off because like, what do you mean you trust Gino more than your own friends? Like, girl, like she was having second thoughts about writing the diss track, which is actually called Takedown, by the way. I didn't mention the diss track's name, but the diss track is called Takedown, and I will say that song is also a banger, and I will put it in the A tier because the song is good and I do jam out to it, and I may or may not have jammed out to it more than once. Yes, I'm admitting this, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with admitting it because some of the songs in this film are good. So anyway, yeah, so these whole secret meetings between Rumi and Gino like continue. There's this other scene where they meet up and they sing the fourth song in this film titled Free. And that song is very... Well, come on guys, what do you expect from me? It's a generic bland song about how they don't see you like I see you. Don't let them in. I have demons inside me. One of the lyrics in the song literally goes, what was the lyrics? Shit, wow, this is embarrassing. I forgot the lyrics, but I think one of the lyrics goes, I hide these demons in me, but they don't see it compared to, I don't remember. Just Google the lyrics, I'm too lazy. Anyway, So yeah, these meetings continue, and Rumi kind of creates this plan to help Gino escape the demon world so he can be like free. Get it, guys? Because that's the name of the song. So he can kind of like escape Gima and be like a normal human being, or just try to live in the human world. I honestly don't know what she was trying to go with this plan here. She did want to help him, so I guess that's nice, but yeah, the main goal of the hunters is to create a golden honeymoon. So she wants Gino's help to create this golden honeymoon so the demons can be sealed away, but he can live in the demon world. I mean, great idea, Rumi, but you know, you trusting a demon that's totally gonna work out in your favor. Anyway, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for, it's the final battle. Saja Boys versus Huntrix. They will be competing at this award show called the Idol Awards, and we're gonna see who wins. Well, I think we already know who's gonna win because this is Power of Friendship film, and you know, it has the power of plot armor, but we're gonna see who wins. So, Huntrix performs their 5th song. Well, I think this is the 5th song in the film. I don't know, I think I like lost count of how many songs are in this film, but this is the 5th song of the film titled Golden, and I'm gonna be dragged to hell for this opinion, but I'm just gonna say right here, I really did not like Golden. Yeah, guys, yeah, crucify me if you want, whatever, but I just didn't really like that song, and I don't get how it became the most streamed song out of all the other songs in this film, because you got Takedown, how it's done. Like, I know I guess you could say they were kind of predictable for people to like or something, but I feel like they kind of deserve to be more, like, higher compared to Golden. How is Golden number 1? Because the reason why I don't like it is, I guess it's because it has this, like, generic message about how the character is gonna shine bright and be herself, which is it's not a bad message, but it's not a new message, and this film's whole entire plot is not really new and original. We're gonna talk about it after this, but anyway, so yeah, so they perform, and they are this close to achieving the golden honeymoon, until their manager Bobby gets kidnapped by the demons. And it turns out, guys, that demons can shapeshift in this world. Interesting lore you got here. So yeah, and then Rumi is forced to sing Takedown with Mira and Zoe, who are not the real Mira and Zoe, they are the demon versions. And they just start to mess with her a bit, start to make fun of her, and expose her to the world as a demon. Even though people on stage didn't really care about her demon patterns, I think nobody even knew that she was a demon. Like, nobody cared enough to look at her. They were just trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. Mira and Zoe see this, they see that Rumi is a demon, and this scene is just... yeah, guys, they have a falling out because, you know, Rumi has been lying to them, even though she wanted to tell them, but she couldn't. Yeah, you can blame Celine. Celine's the villain. Celine is the true villain of this film because she was the one who was forcing Rumi to hide who she is, okay? So, like, you can't blame Rumi. That's Celine's fault. Anyway, yeah, so they kind of just, like, break up. The band is breaking up. Man, I'm so sorry. I have nothing else to add here. Anyway, moving on. So, Rumi runs away, and then she sees Gino, and she gets very mad, and I'm like, girl... he is a villain. What did you expect, girl? So yeah, so she kind of tries to convince him and tries to say, like, why would you do this? And then they have, like, fighting. They have, like, a bit of a fight. So I'm not gonna get into the whole thing. Then Rumi tries to convince Gino that he's still a good person. He made a mistake when he abandoned his family, you know, when Gima, like, forced him to leave his family. Oh boy. Oh, this is actually my favorite part. I cannot wait to talk about this. So... Gino finally reveals who he actually is. So, it turns out, 400 years ago, Gino actually didn't abandon his family because he was forced to, or because Gima was manipulated him into doing that or whatever. No, he abandoned them because he wanted to get out of poverty himself and leave his mother and little sister to go and rot on the streets. So, in other words, he willingly abandoned them. He's a selfish piece of shit. And Rumi is still trying to convince him by saying this isn't you? Yeah, Rumi kind of pissed me off in this scene, just saying. I'm not saying that Rumi's a YN, but remember how I said that she kind of acts like a YN? Yeah, well, in this scene, she kind of acted like a YN because she was over here still trying to convince him by saying, no, I mean, okay, sure, you abandoned your family. I mean, like, you abandoned your little sister who's still a child. and your mom, who was like looking at you with shameful eyes because you just abandoned them. But it's okay. It's still not you though. So yeah, anyway, that all fails and Rumi has to accept her true calling, which is being a demon. She goes to see Celine, and this entire scene is also another favorite scene of mine because I like the overall seriousness of this scene. So Rumi finally crashes out on Celine and basically tries to, wants to know why her whole life Celine never accepted her, never truly loved her for who she is. Since, Rumi being part demon was never her choice. She was born to a mother who married a demon. She didn't choose to be a demon, unlike Ginu. Anyway, and Celine tries to deflect by saying, no, I did love you. But I'm like, girl, no, you fucking didn't. Let's be fucking for real. You were the true villain, okay? Sooner or later, Rumi was gonna crash out on you and give you this whole entire lecture, which you needed. This is a well-deserved lecture for Celine, to be honest, because you basically spent your whole life trying to cover her patterns, trying to cover what makes her, her. And now you're mad that Rumi is crashing out? Yeah, girl, okay. So Rumi has a bit of a villain moment in this scene, and honestly, I feel like she should have turned into a villain, because she had every right to be a villain. I would have liked it if the film kind of went towards an interesting path and actually maybe made her become a villain. And since there's also going to be a sequel to this film, I think it would have been a better setup for a sequel than what we got at the end. But since this is a power of friendship film, of course they weren't gonna do that. But I really wish they would have maybe just made Rumi into a villain at the end. That would have been much more interesting personally, but anyway. So after that whole debacle, she disappears and we're transferred back to the stage, and this is I lost count. So this is the next song, titled Idol. And I won't lie guys, this song is really good. Yeah, I actually did like Idol, not because of the Saja boys acting all hot on stage and hypnotizing people. No, I actually liked the song because the lyrics itself were really well written, and I really liked at the beginning. The film does not have a longer version. There actually is a longer version of Idol, and at the very beginning, the Saja boys sing this Latin phrase, which is supposed to signify death, or death is coming, the wrath is coming. Yeah, just Google the Latin phrase. It's a really cool touch that they included in that, and I really liked the whole Latin part. It really adds on to all the demonness and the creepiness of the song. So yeah, so they perform, and yes guys, I am very well aware that there were many people who made TikTok edits to this, and they probably gooned to this whole performance because, get it, I guess. So Rumi shows up and starts to have a bit of a conversation with Gima, and she decides, nah, you know what? I'm a good person, guys. And this is the final song of the film titled This Is What It Sounds Like. And I also liked that song too. Yes, I liked This Is What It Sounds Like. I know it's a very power of friendship type of song, but I did actually like it. I won't lie, I like the part where they got together and started to fight these demons because the fighting scenes in this film are good. Rumi tries to battle Gima, Gino saves him and sacrifices himself by giving her his soul. Yeah, Gino, I'm still not gonna forget about the fact that you abandoned your family. This scene is just so weird. So Gino abandons his family, people who he's known his whole life, people who've been with him for his whole life, who stuck by him even if they were poor. But nah, he was a selfish asshole that abandoned him. But Rumi, a situationship that he knew for a couple of weeks, yeah, I'll sacrifice myself for you. Screw my family, but you, my situationship, perfect. Like I said before, the fighting scenes in K-pop Demon Hunters definitely give me an anime type of vibe, because in anime, primarily shonen type of anime, the fighting scenes are always over the top. And I've noticed some similarities between the fighting scenes in K-pop Demon Hunters and Fairy Tail. Yes, guys. I'm gonna bring up Fairy Tail here because I finally have a reason to talk about it. I will talk about it more later after this, but I just noticed this scene in particular where Rumi was fighting Gima, where she was taking out her sword and slashing him. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Fairy Tail fighting scenes. So I decided to include the Fairy Tail theme, or I think it's the Ost, but it's a Fairy Tail theme basically, over this whole entire scene just because I just noticed some similarities and I just think it would be cool. Yeah, enjoy. Anyway, everybody sings, everybody's happy, they defeated the demon, and we're all happy. Power of friendship, guys. Friendship wins. Woo! So yeah, that's basically the end of the film. So like I said, the film is not horrid, it's not like horrific or bad or anything like this. It definitely feels like a breath of fresh air when it comes to people like, you know, wanting better films, because, you know, like I said, animation these days are just not it, especially from Disney, but it is Disney. What else do we expect from them? Because they're literally just making sequels and more sequels instead of creating new ideas. So yeah, this film definitely felt like an original idea for some people. However, like I will say, guys, I definitely feel like this film tried to emulate a bunch of other popular kids media before, because the plot of Demon Hunters is not really new and original. And this is the part where I need to talk about the big elephant in the room here, because I've noticed a lot of similarities between K-pop Demon Hunters and this one film that I actually used to watch when I was a kid. Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks. A couple of months back, I uploaded a video of me doing kind of like a deep dive on the MLP fandom. I didn't go, well, I wouldn't really call it a deep dive. I wouldn't call it the best video, really, to be honest. It ended up being like an hour long, and there I briefly talked about Equestria Girls, so I can talk about it more here now because I finally have a reason. So Rainbow Rocks was the second installment in the Equestria Girls franchise, if you would even call it that, and it focuses on these three sirens who originally do come from Equestria, but they were banished by Starswell the Bearded, for any of you who are, you know, aware or familiar with the MLP lore, and they were banished to this human world. To this day, I don't know why they just call it the human world. Like, there's no definite like explanation to this world. It's just called the human world, basically. And the sirens, like the main goal of these sirens is to manipulate people with their voices, but unlike traditional sirens in Greek mythology, these sirens manipulate people and make the people that they manipulate turn on each other. In other words, they begin to fight, and whenever the people fight, there's this green smoke of negative energy that comes from the chaos that erupts from the people who fight, and it powers the red necklaces that the sirens wear, which in turn makes their voices stronger. So in other words, they obviously use music to manipulate people, and with the Saja boys, it's the same thing, except they don't really use any necklaces or whatever. They just like manipulate people, and the people just become infatuated with them or something like that. So I would kind of call this film to be sort of like a carbon copy of Equestria Girls, though I really don't think that the writers had any intention in like copying Equestria Girls, but it cannot be a coincidence that there's just a lot of similarities. Like the Saja boys had their introduction through a song. The Dazzlings did the same thing when they entered that cafeteria and started to, you know, sing, and people were like infatuated, but then they began to argue and fight and whatever. So there's just like a lot of things I noticed that were so similar. And the most funny thing of all is that Equestria Girls came out in 2014 and this film came out this year, so you're kinda 11 years too late with the plot. But I think the most interesting similarity that I did notice between these two films are the characters of Sunset Shimmer and Rumi, and just how similar they are in terms of their personalities and their characters. So Sunset Shimmer, if we all know who she is, she was introduced to us as a villain in the first Equestria Girls film, where she just wanted to take Twilight's crown and, you know, steal it and become like ruler of Equestria or something. She just wanted to be powerful, typical MLP villain stuff. And she was defeated by Twilight and her friends near the end. And in the second film, we basically just get to see Sunset Shimmer trying to navigate her way through this world by being a reformed villain, but nobody really believed her, nobody trusted her, everybody just viewed her as this dangerous villain that's just going to take over the world again or something like that. And throughout the film, Sunset Shimmer is like ridiculed for it. She's constantly reminded about the fact that, hey, so you were a villain, you remember that? Yeah, Rainbow Dash, I'm looking at you. And Rumi, it's quite similar. Rumi is part demon, and she obviously does not want to be defined only by being a demon, but, you know, her whole life she was taught that demons are evil creatures, and that, you know, her being a part demon is something that she should be ashamed of rather than just embrace the fact that she is one, because, you know, she didn't really choose to be a demon, but her whole life she was told that she's evil because of it, and that if she were to create a golden honeymoon, they would disappear. So you kind of have two characters having a side that they're both ashamed of. Then near the end, they both embrace that side and defeat the evil by embracing that side together with their friends. Except, to be quite honest with you, Sunset Shimmer was just bullied by Twilight and her friends. Like, I felt so bad for Sunset Shimmer. Like, the way she was treated was just so undeserved. Like, I know she was a villain, but she's trying her best, guys, okay? Like, let's not. And when I said that the fighting scenes in K-pop Demon Hunters reminded me of Fairy Tail, I really did mean it, because if you guys know Fairy Tail, it's a shonen anime that also actually includes the whole power of friendship thing, except the show first started airing in 2009, and it's still actually ongoing with the current 100-year quest that I did watch, and yes, I do like it. The show itself is really good, and I don't know why so many people in the anime community just don't like this anime. Like, it's not all power of friendship, guys. Like, it's actually a really interesting anime with an interesting plot, okay? Just give it a watch. And this is coming from someone that's not really a weeb. Like, I'm not an anime fan at all, but if I do see an anime with a good plot, I will probably watch it, and that's just kind of the case with Fairy Tail. And in Fairy Tail, there's this one of the main characters' name is Ursa Scarlet, and she's like this badass warrior type of character who is my favorite, by the way. And anytime she fights, her scenes are so over the top. Like, you got her flipping in the air, jumping from trees, I'm not kidding, got her swinging her sword. So it just kind of remind, like, the whole sequence of Huntrix fighting these demons just kind of reminded me of Ursa fighting 100 monsters during the Grand Magic Games arc, and it is one of my favorite arcs, guys. So yeah, to summarize my thoughts in this whole video, K-pop Demon Hunters just cannot compete with Equestria Girls. I am sorry. I'm not saying that the creators like wanted to copy Equestria Girls, or I don't even think the creators even know what Equestria Girls is or MLP in general, but it really cannot be a coincidence that there is a lot of similarities, and I've seen some fans just try to make K-pop Demon Hunters have the success that MLP had, because, you know, MLP was a TV show that had, you know, that used the whole power of friendship trope. The whole plot of MLP was literally the power of friendship. But the thing is that MLP still has a cult following to this day. MLP was hugely successful, and it still remains to be a success. It just cannot, I'm sorry, the success of MLP just cannot really compete with K-pop Demon Hunters, and I just seen some people kind of at this point get too comfortable and say that this film is better than Equestria Girls, and I'm like, guys, let's not get too comfortable, okay? Like, can we not? I know that MLP is also like this girly pop type of TV show, but it also did have its own original ideas, and a lot of love and thought was also put into MLP, so I feel like, again, this film tried to be everything all at once. They just included all of these popular tropes that were so big back in the 2010s, and just tried to make it work, and of course mix it with K-pop. And I feel like that's just like something that you probably shouldn't do, because the only reason why this film did well, in my opinion, is because of the K-pop aspect being included in it. And here's my idea: if this film, like, you know, were to go down the path of, let's say, Kung Fu Panda, because Kung Fu Panda also had this over-the-top fighting scenes. They also had a whole culture of their own. I mean, it's set in ancient China, but, you know, they also did have a culture of their own. They had a badass female character. So I feel like if K-pop Demon Hunters were to go similar path of Kung Fu Panda and have the girls fight demons in an ancient Korean setting, by singing, of course, but obviously not in modern times, then maybe I would have been on board, because I'm all for the ancient traditional setting, to be honest, since Kung Fu Panda ended up doing amazing. And, you know, we don't talk about the fourth film, but the other three were amazing. So yeah, but those are just my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so sorry that this is kind of late. Like I said, I'm hoping that I'm not going to get a copyright when I post this video, and yes, I'm not showing my face in this one, I'm just doing a voiceover. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm out.